In today's video, I'm showing you some DIY vintage shabby chic Christmas decor. Welcome to CreArtive by Nature DIY and Decor. My name is Donna. So for our first project, you're going to need a tree sign. I picked mine up from Dollar Tree and I'm going to be covering it with this embossed vintage wallpaper. Now this is actually from my grandma's house. My mom and dad grabbed it for me as they knew how much I would love this. And the beautiful thing is that both my grandma and my dad are no longer with us, so I definitely will cherish this project. So as you can see, I outlined my tree and I will need to do this twice. Once you have two of the tree shapes outlined, you can then use your scissors to cut them out. And as you can see, I'm struggling with the paper a little bit, so I do end up rolling it back on itself so it doesn't keep curling on me. So you can just finish cutting it out and you'll want to do the same thing for the second piece. So I have both my pieces cut out and I am also going to be using a craft mat to protect my surface, and I'm just making sure that the pieces are the right size. So I am going to be attaching both of the wallpaper pieces using some tacky glue. So I'm just generously applying some to the wood tree sign, and then I'm using a plastic card to smooth the glue out towards the edges. And then if you need to apply more glue, go right ahead and do so until you have sufficient coverage. So I've applied all my glue and now I am just pressing the wood tree sign into the glue on the wallpaper, and then I'm just going to straighten it out. So I've used wet glue as that will allow me a bit of wiggle room so I can move it around a little bit. But keep in mind, tacky glue is actually quite sticky and it sets up fairly quickly, so you'll want to move quickly. I'm just pressing it out until I get all air bubbles out. And then I do the same thing for the second piece. I've allowed it to dry and it turned out really good. So I am going to be using this beautiful olive green color and I am going to give my wallpaper a coat both on the front and the back side. You can use any color you'd like, but I am specifically using green for a reason, and I will tell you more about that here in a bit. Allow your tree to dry well. Once your tree is all dry, you can then enhance the embossing on this wallpaper. I am using a color called Champagne Gold and it's put out by Decor. I will have a link for you in my affiliate store if you're at all interested, and that will be in my description box. But you can just see how when you add a lighter color over top, the embossing really pops. And I feel that this gives it more of a romantic, shabby chic, and vintage look. This is a look that I'm going for in my master bedroom for Christmas this year. I just love this shimmer gold. So I apply this champagne gold to both sides of my tree and I allow it to dry well. Once your paint has all dried, you can then start to embellish it if you'd like. I'm using this snowflake and I am actually going to make a little tree topper out of this. I had given it a coat of my champagne gold paint and I wanted it to fit on the top of my tree, so I just needed to snip it off and then it will fit nicely right into the top of our tree. I'm attaching it with some hot glue. Okay, so now we'll need to create a stand for our tree. I'm using this birch tree slice and a couple of branches, and I had collected these branches from the forest and I had cut them down to size. So I picked up this wood slice from my local dollar store and I'm going to add some hot glue and glue it to the middle of the wood slice. You'll want to hold it into place while it sets. So I love to mix my styles, and I especially love to add natural elements. So that's why I thought this would be fitting to use these branches. And I put these into place on both sides of our tree using some hot glue, as you can see here. And that will help to stabilize our tree. So I felt like the base wasn't quite finished, so I'm using some preserved reindeer moss, and I'm going to adhere it to the base using some hot glue. As you can see here, I'm just adding the hot glue and then pressing the moss into place, and I cover the entire bottom. And here is our vintage inspired shabby chic Christmas tree for our Christmas decor. I love the mix of the green with the highlights of gold. I can't wait to put it on display in our master bedroom. So today's video is part of a really fun collaboration called Colors of Christmas. Our hosts are Leanie from Crafty Leedy and Nadia from DIY with Nadia. I have teamed up with Emily from Farm Charmed Chic, Becky from Kinda Shabby, Jamie from Simple Roots, Simple Living, Casey from Coffee with My Sunshine, Lisa from Lisa and Company, and of course there is me. You'll want to check out my description box for the playlist along with our host channel links. You will not want to miss this. So we each picked a different color to use in our projects as the main theme, and I myself chose the color green, and you can visit everybody else's channels to see what color they have used. It is going to be packed full of so much talented inspiration. So for our next project, you will need a paper mache cone. This one came from Michael's, but you can definitely get them from craft stores, and I will have a link in my Amazon affiliate store for you. I am going to be giving this a coat with this gorgeous, dazzling metallic green paint, again from Decor, and I will have that link in my Amazon affiliate store as well. I have allowed the cone to dry well, and now I am going to be covering it with these wired fairy lights. I'll be attaching them using some just little dabs of hot glue. So this is where you're going to have to play around a little bit with the lights that you have. I am adding some more glue just under the lights, but once in a while I am using some hot glue directly on the wire, and I'm also bending my wires a bit just so I have better coverage, as if you just twist it right around, what could happen is that your lights will just all be in a row rather than spread out all over your cone. So as you can see, I'm just adding some glue, bending the wire, and then allowing my glue to set. Once you get to the bottom, you can bend the wire so it goes underneath the cone, as we need to be able to glue our battery pack on the inside of our paper mache cone. So you just want to make sure you can access the battery pack and the switch, and then make sure you also place your glue in the proper spots so you have contact with the paper mache. I didn't do that the first time around, as you can see here, so I had to go back in and add some hot glue to the edge of our battery pack. All right, now it's time to decorate. I have this vintage green and cream lace, and I just thought it was so beautiful. I thought it would be perfect for shabby chic Christmas. And I am just going to measure out how much fabric I need to cover my cone. So this project is actually inspired by Jamie from Simple Roots, Simple Living. She's part of this collaboration as mentioned before, and I fell in love with what she had made, so I thought I would try to recreate something similar in the style that I was going for in my master bedroom. So thank you for the inspiration, Jamie. I appreciate it. So I have now cut down my fabric to a more workable size. So now I'm just figuring out where I want the seam of my fabric, and then I'm going to overlap the pieces and then cut off the excess. Now I am going to start to glue one edge of our fabric to the cone. So I'm just adding a little bit of hot glue at a time and pressing the lace into the glue as shown. So the one edge is all nicely glued down. Now I am going to just pull the fabric tight and roll the cone with the fabric, and then I'm going to glue down the other side. Now it is going to overlap quite a bit, so I am adding glue just to the edge of the other side of the fabric as you see here, and then I will be again cutting off any of the excess. So now I'm working on the tip of the tree. I'm just cutting off a little bit of the excess fabric, and then I will be gluing the rest of the fabric into place. Now, it's okay if you don't get this perfect, as we will be decorating the tip of our tree. Okay, so now I'm going to attach the fabric to the bottom of our cone. I'm just, again, cutting off the excess fabric, and then I'm just pulling on it slightly as I need it to attach the inside of our cone. I'll add hot glue to the inside and then again press our green and cream lace fabric into the glue. So at this point, you could leave your tree as is, but I wanted to just elevate it to another level by adding this high-end look. I got these beautiful strand of flower lights with a green garland, green leaf garland. And I picked these up from Walmart in the summertime in their garden decor. I knew that these would look gorgeous on this cone, so I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue and then wrap them around our tree. I'm not using too much hot glue as I wasn't sure how the lights were going to wrap around the tree, and I figured I needed to be able to just pull them off. So if you just add just a little bit of hot glue, that'll help hold the lights in place, but still allow you to be able to pull them off and move them if you need to. Once you get to the bottom, you'll want to make sure that you glue that bottom wire into place, as you need to be able to again tuck the battery pack inside our cone. Don't forget, you're going to want to make sure you have access to the batteries and the switch. So again, I am going to be gluing the battery pack into place the same way as before. So I felt like the tree was a little bit unfinished and I wanted to cover up my wiring on the very bottom. So I'm using these frosted green branches that I picked up from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to glue them into place around the base of our tree. As you can see, I'm cutting the pieces down into more manageable sizes. So at this point, you again could leave your tree as is, but I still felt like it needed just a little bit more, and I wanted to balance out all the sparkle that's on the bottom throughout my tree. So I'm just snipping off some small little pieces of the greenery and I'm going to glue them around the little flower lights. Feel free to add some different embellishments if you would like. The battery packs are very easy to access, as you can see here, and then it is ready to put on display. I love how this tree turned out. It definitely has that vintage, romantic, shabby chic look I want again for our master bedroom decor. I love this so much. It has a very nature-inspired look. As always, I love to know what you all think by leaving me a comment down below. I want to say a big thank you to Leanie, Nadia, and my fellow creators. Don't forget to check the links in my description box below. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.